In the past, if you were looking for a good budget e-skate, you bought a Meepo 1.5. However, the board's jerky, imprecise control interface always left much to be desired, and as rival boards began to offer outstandingly smooth acceleration and braking at the same price, the Meepo quickly fell out of favor. With the recent release of the Meepo board version 2, Meepo has promised a more refined control experience, a higher top speed, and faster acceleration with their new Pro Ride mode. So in this video, we're going to test these claims and decide if this board can reclaim the budget board crown from its chief rival, the WowGo 2S. As always, let's start by bringing up our sensors and examining straight line performance. In this chart, we display how hard a board can push the rider at any given speed, and as you can see, the news is not good. Remarkably, Meepo's new board accelerates significantly slower than its predecessor. Compared to the WowGo 2S, it does perform marginally better at all speeds, but this is still a really disappointing regression within the Meepo lineup. This manifests itself in a noticeably slower 5 to 15 mph time of 2.9 seconds, which is nearly half a second slower than its predecessor. In spite of this downgrade, the V2 still clearly outperforms the WowGo 2S, which isn't particularly surprising since acceleration was a conspicuous weakness for the WowGo. Top speed is indeed improved due to the removal of the electronic limiter found on the version 1.5. We don't personally feel that top speed is very important, but the Meepo is now on the same level as the WowGo in this category, which may be welcome news to some. To illustrate the real-world implications of these figures, let's take a look at a drag race between the Meepo version 2 and the WowGo 2S. Go.
Yeah, it's faster.
So, the Meepo has lost a little of its original pep, but has its control interface at least improved? Sadly, the answer is no. We no longer own a Meepo 1.5, so we can't say with certainty that there is absolutely no improvement here, but the bottom line is clear. This control interface is still jerky, imprecise, and vastly inferior to that of the WowGo 2S. Meepo has attempted to mitigate these issues by aggressively filtering control input in lower performance riding modes, but this crude palliative introduces ridiculous control latency, reduces peak torque, and does nothing to fix the jerky brakes. Furthermore, the Meepo 1.5 had an irritating tendency to briefly lose power after hitting bumps, which we suspect is the result of a poorly designed traction control system. This infuriating quirk persists with the version 2, and as you can see in this uphill drag race against the WowGo 2S, it can severely hinder real-world performance.
Go.
Finally, due to the Meepo's poor control granularity, applying light throttle while coasting can actually cause subtle braking, which immensely undermines rider confidence. In summary, the control system is simply not competitive. On that sobering note, let's take a closer look at the actual hardware to see if there's any redemption to be found. As you can see, the controller has been legitimately redesigned, and we're happy to report that this is in fact an improvement. Despite its tasteless, 90s video game peripheral-esque styling and unfortunately dim indicator lights, this remote is ergonomically superior to its predecessor and highly intuitive. That said, the actual control wheel seems nearly identical in terms of both travel and resistance, with the only improvement being the additional tactile grooves. Though the controller's aesthetics disappoint, the board is undeniably sharp. We were, however, disappointed by its use of plastic enclosures and lack of waterproofing. The Meepo's deck is noticeably more concave than that of the WowGo, which makes it pleasantly grippy, but also somewhat less flexible. Neither board handles rough terrain impeccably, but the WowGo's extra flex does give it a perceptible edge here. To our surprise, the Meepo scores points with its slightly wider, Paris-style trucks and looser carving setup. Out of the box, this board feels much more nimble and pleasant than the WowGo, which is not insignificant for those who don't want to get their hands dirty. We did find that installing softer pivot cups on the WowGo equalized carving quality and cost only about $10, but we also observed that the WowGo's trucks and base plates generally seem to be of a lower quality. So, has Meepo reestablished its dominant market position? Clearly not. In fact, it appears the company has thrown away the version 1.5's only major selling point, its strong acceleration. And for what? Certainly not the improved control interface we were promised. If you want smooth controls, buy a WowGo 2S. If you want acceleration, buy a 1.5. In a vacuum, the V2 is still a very fun toy for its price, but it simply has nothing new to offer.